welcome each and every one of you to our service this morning. Our center's purpose is love, and our vision is embracing all while awakening to the one. And whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, and they all end in oneness and in love. And we are grateful that each of you is here with us this morning. We begin with our receptivity statement that will come up on your screen. And you can repeat with me as you're muted. So, I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So this morning, we have a wonderful musician with us. He's Loomis. He has been a longtime friend of our center, CSL Tahoe-Truckee. He started when his late wife, Reverend Sandy Freeman Loomis, was our minister. And Rod has had a long acting career on TV and in the movies. And you may not know this, but one of his most memorable roles was when he played the psychologist Sigmund Freud in the 1989 movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So that movie will ever be different for you. But please help me welcome Rod Loomis.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I invite you to listen to this first song with your hearts, okay? Change my heart, oh God, make it ever true. Change my heart, oh God, may I be like new. Change my heart, oh God, make it ever true. Change my heart, oh God, may I be like new. God is a potter, I am the clay. Mold me and lead me. This is what I pray. Change my heart, oh God. Make it ever true. Change my heart, oh God. May I be like new. God is the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and lead me. This is what I pray. Put your hands on your hearts, dear one. Change my heart, oh God. Make it ever true. Change my heart, oh God. May I be like you.
Thank you so much, Rod.
Mhm.
Uh, well, our practitioner this morning is Nancy O'Neill. And I want to tell you guys that Nancy O'Neill really has the heart of a practitioner. She is, um, she's having to stay so full of love because she is sharing it in so many places right now with so many people. So I want to give her a special shout out and welcome, Nancy.
So just join me this morning in an opening prayer. So just take some breaths. Just get centered again. Oh. So as we were just all so touched by those words that Rod just sang, change my heart, oh God. And so just taking those words in and allow those words to just guide us this morning. Guide us in this time together. This time of remembrance, this time of really joy, this time of love, this time of connection, where we connect with that one source that lives within us, that one source that is us. And that source is love. And so as we move through our day, as we move through this time together, this time where of unity, this time where being together with like-minded people helps to remind us who we really are. And so in knowing this truth of the one, that all is well, that all is unfolding perfectly in our world for our best good, for our highest good. And so in knowing that today's time together, a time to learn, a time to grow, a time to just take in words that help us move into our day and into our week in a way that is loving, joyful, peaceful, and it's just full of that connection that we have with that one source. Knowing that all is well, all is good, all is God, always. And so just in great gratitude for this time together, for this teaching that we follow, that is so much meaning and purpose in our lives, as we say together, and so it is. Whoa, sorry. So this morning's reading, we're really focusing on Buddhism this morning because of Jerry, really. Because of, and Jerry, I hope you know this, that we're focusing on Buddhism because of how you brought a lot of the Buddhist teachings into our center and into our lives. And this morning I did the loving kindness meditation, and that is just so you, Jerry, you know. Happy, healthy, safe, ease, peace. So this reading is called Ultimate Truth According to Buddhism, and it's by Matthew Ricard, who's a Buddhist monk, a photographer, an author, and a humanitarian. During a teaching that I attended in Nepal, given by Zangzar Khyentse Rinpoche, he reminded us that all of the Buddhist teachings were given so that we may realize in stages the ultimate truth. If we limit ourselves to only conventional or relative truth, our understanding will remain narrow. It is said that meditative experiences are fleeting, like the morning mist, whereas ultimate realization is unchanging like the sky. It is a point of no return. The entire Buddhist path is dedicated to such training. Through the 5 paths and the 10 bodhisattva stages, the Buddhist path seeks to eliminate first the veil that is created by afflictive mental states like hatred, desire, lack of discernment, pride and jealousy, and many more. And then the cognitive veil, more subtle and difficult to remove, which masks the true nature of phenomena. When these two veils have been lifted, we reach Buddhahood. Ultimate realization is beyond words and ordinary concepts. And yet, this does not mean extinction into nothingness, as some say. What is forever extinguished is ignorance, including all the resulting sufferings that arise from it. In fact, Buddhahood will manifest itself in infinite ways for the sake of beings. Consequently, clinging to the idea of an individual entity no longer exists. This does not mean that an individual, in quotation marks, who existed thus far would vanish. What disappears is the misconception that made us think that there was a personal entity, a self, an ego, or a soul at the heart of the mind stream. Ignorance. Here we speak of a misunderstanding of the true nature of things, not just a lack of information, also disappears, making room for knowledge. Gnosis, or wisdom that perceives reality as it is, impermanent, interdependent, devoid of existence from its own side. Consciousness remains, but it is no longer a consciousness veiled by confusion. It is a knowing regarding the true nature of all things, free from distortions created by the mind. So I just asked Rod to come back for another beautiful song.
Okay. This song is called I Am Light. I Am Light in India Ari. I am light, I am light. 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 I'm not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Jerry. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 I'm not the color of my eyes. I'm not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is a light, is a light, all light. all light. I am 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 divinity divine. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light.
Thank you, Rod. Yeah, that's the state of mind when we see ourselves as the light of the world that is lights each one of us and brings us here together. You know, I think when we're meditating together, that sense of oneness is always an amazing place to be for me. And but shifting into what I want to talk about this morning, the truth will set you free. You know, there was a time in the life of Jesus when he went into Jerusalem and he went into the temple courts where he sat down to teach the people. And some of the Jews who were listening believed what Jesus said, and others did not. The Pharisees challenged him with all kinds of trick questions, hoping to catch him in a statement that would allow them to arrest him for breaking the law and threatening their authority. Jesus calmly answered all their questions, sometimes with puzzles and questions of his own. Jesus wasn't worried because he knew the truth of who he was, the Son of his Father God. In John 8:31-32, it says, "To the Jews who had believed him, Jesus said, 'If you hold to my teaching, you are really my principal disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.'" And that's my talk, the title of my talk this week, "The Truth Will Set You Free." This month we have been talking about unchained spirituality. And today's topic is "The Truth Will Set You Free." The spiritual truth is always present in all situations. Through spiritual practice, we open our consciousness to see the spiritual truth and allow it to manifest in our lives. So what is the truth? How do we discover it? Well, in everyday world, the truth means it's the difference between fact and fiction, the difference between a lie and the truth. You know, witnesses sworn in court, they say, "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?" Right? Different witnesses may observe the same scene, though, and pay attention to completely different details. You know, one person may see and hear a child practicing on the piano or a violin and hear only just annoying wrong notes and screeching. And another person, they could see and hear the same child and observe the delight as they learn to make sounds with the instrument and how each time through the song sounds slightly more familiar. Or they might hear a future jazz artist learning to improvise. Right? It's that feeling behind the playing. Another situation, one person may see a person down on their luck, trying to survive, while another person sees a con artist working their regular corner to earn a living from the handouts from strangers. You know, what is the truth? Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "People do not seem to realize that their opinion of the world is also a confession of their own character." Right? Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind, he said, "If we could come back to see that life is like a mirror, tending to reflect back to us the images of our own thinking, then we should realize that by changing our thinking, we can change the reflections in the mirror." Now, does this mean that changing our thinking, we can change the spiritual truth? Not at all. Not at all. The unchanging spiritual truth is always present underneath the worldly appearance that we see. It is the divine love, peace, and the wholeness of God. It is the life force itself that is expressing itself through its creation. Right? In science of mind, we believe that our outer physical world changes to match our beliefs, whether they are true or not. Right? We want to get them right. And so our job is to learn to see the spiritual truth and align our beliefs accordingly. Our life will change to match. You know, I don't know about you, but it's been really a crazy week for me and throughout the world. There's so much chaos going on, you know, with the COVID-19 pandemic, all of the competing approaches to fight the war against the virus. You know, what's more important? Is it science and what the health experts expect us, or is it keeping the economy going, just trusting that most people will survive like they survived the flu each year? Which one do we follow? Do we follow the politics of the Republicans or the Democrats, or are we Americans first? Who do we trust? Is it private business people that can always innovate? Or it's the career bureaucrats who have studied and practiced their special expertise for many years? Right? We go through the anguish of hearing about people trying to provide homes and food for their families, homeschool their children when the schools are shut down. Listen to the anger of the protesters calling for an end to systemic racism and violence against Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color. And then there's simply the anxiety and restlessness of staying at home for months on end without being able to just go out to work safely, or go out because you have to support your family, not being able to visit our loved ones, right? Especially if they're close to making their transition. You know, just this week we lost two great civil rights leaders. John Lewis, age 80, who was the last surviving speaker who spoke at the 1963 March on Washington. Amazing man. And the Reverend C.T. Vivian died the same day, age 95. He was another advisor to Dr. Martin Luther King. Reverend Vivian had organized some of the earliest civil rights sit-ins and boycotts. Right? So many families have experienced tragic deaths, illnesses, or other crises this week, my own family included. The U.S. has reached about 140,000 COVID deaths and 3.8 million cases as new cases continue to skyrocket out of control here and many places throughout the world. Now, I don't know about you, but there were plenty of times this week when I just felt plain overwhelmed. You know, where is God in all of this? Why is everything happening all at once? What is real? You know, and being human, it's normal to react with fear and anger, resentment, and feelings of powerlessness, even depression and hopelessness sometimes. We've all heard of the saying, "This too shall pass." And all of these events are happening in the physical world, which is always changing. And we've spent so much time worrying about these world events and trying to cope with these impermanent things. Do we just ignore them and hope they'll just go away? They probably will eventually. You know, but what is real? What is the truth that we should believe? What is the truth to set us free? How do we discover that? Now, seeking the ultimate truth is a fundamental part of Buddhism, as you heard in the reading today from Matthew Ricard's writings. And the Buddhist spiritual practice aims to remove the veils that obscure the ultimate truth. Now, first, the veil created by our afflicted mental states, our emotions like desire, hatred, lack of discernment, pride, and jealousy. And once we've done that, the more difficult one is to remove the second veil, our thoughts, the cognitive veil of confusion that masks the ultimate truth with worldly appearances that appear very real. The ultimate truth is a deeper wisdom about the true nature of things, free from the distortions created by the mind. You know, as a person moves closer to ultimate realization, ignorance is extinguished, including all suffering. Another quote from Matthew Ricard: "When you part the clouds that have covered the sun for so long, you come to understand that it was always shining beneath the clouds. And so, It is a question of realizing the truth and not taking away of anything that would diminish you in any way. You see, the ultimate realization is beyond ordinary words and finite concepts. When we use words and pictures to describe the world, we have to break the world down into pieces just to describe it. We lose that oneness and focus on little pieces at a time. The whole is infinite, and therefore it cannot be described in human words and concepts. It's beyond human knowledge. So as an example, consider the idea of an individual. We describe ourselves and every individual as a separate human being beginning with an ego, with a self with a small s. But at the level of ultimate truth, there is no self with a small s, only the self with a capital S that is the one life. Individuals do not have an existence separate from the one, even though we perceive ourselves as separate at the human worldly level. Ultimate truth exists at the level of oneness. Ultimate truth is what sets us free. This is when we reach that point of knowingness, that's when we reach enlightenment or Buddhahood in the Buddha's teaching. Now let's look at what Ernest Holmes says about truth. The definition of science of mind in the back of the textbook is very instructive. Let me read it for you. Truth, that which is. It is the reason, cause, and power in and through everything. It is birthless, deathless, changeless, complete, perfect, whole, self-existent, causeless, almighty, God, spirit, law, mind, intelligence, and anything and everything that implies reality. By a process of axiomatic reasoning, we arrive at the conclusion that spirit knows nothing outside itself. Think of that. Spirit knows nothing outside itself. The truth is that which is, and being that which is, it must be infinite and all. Being infinite or all, the truth can have nothing outside of itself, other than itself, or unlike itself, by which to divide itself. It's inseparable. Consequently, the spirit is indivisible, changeless, and complete within itself. Itself is all that is, both cause and effect, the alpha and the omega. Right? So this definition of truth is very similar to the Buddhist concept. We're describing the same ultimate truth. Truth is all that is. It is changeless. And there is nothing outside of truth, outside of the one. Truth is the same for all people. Now, how does Holmes develop the importance of knowing the truth? In the textbook, Ernest Holmes says, intuitively, we sense that every man in his native state is some part of manifestation of this eternal principle, and that the entire problem of limitation, evil, suffering, and uncertainty is not God ordained, but is the result of ignorance. It has been written that the truth shall make us free, provided we know the truth. And we know that the evolution of man's consciousness brings with it the acquisition of new powers and higher possibilities. And this is the essence of science of mind. A practitioner is trained to see that spiritual truth beneath the appearance, the truth that's always there. So when we feel overwhelmed, instead of seeing that chaos in the outer world, we turn within to see the infinite loving presence that is always there in the midst of every situation and every relationship. It is the same loving presence that is there in our heart of hearts. This is what is real. This is the spiritual truth. Now, because this is an inner spiritual truth, our awareness, it brings us to the importance of spiritual practice. How do we shift our consciousness to recognize and see that spiritual truth? The answer is that spiritual practices that reconnect our awareness, we're never separated actually, but we reconnect our awareness with God, our source. Buddha is quoted as saying, irrigators channel water, Fletchers straighten arrows. Carpenters shape wood. The wise masters themselves, right? We work on ourselves. And so some examples of spiritual practice are prayer, wonderful time-honored process of communing with spirit, contemplation of spiritual principles and scriptures, meditation, focusing on the breath and just quieting the monkey mind and that all those worries about the physical world, opening our hearts to a higher consciousness of spiritual truth. Gratitude is a wonderful spiritual practice. What we focus on grows. Sacred movements such as yoga or Tai Chi. I think the Tahoe special is basking in nature. We all love to do that here. Simply practicing the presence of spirit. All of these spiritual practices shift our consciousness from our ego self to our higher self. So when I take the time for spiritual practice every day, time to be still and listen to the voice of spirit within me, the fear just slips away. And the urge to just scream is released. Right? In its place, a sense of calmness and peace fills my being. I feel whole. I can see the spiritual truth of who I am, and I see it as that underlying life force that is manifesting itself in and through me and its every situation. Right? Whatever is visible now is evolving as the spiritual truth. Whatever incomplete state it is evolving, and I can see that life force underneath. I can see what is mine to do. I have faith in the power and the presence of God to guide me and our families, our Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee, and our country, the whole world. We are one. And this is how I see the spiritual truth that will set me free. From this perspective of oneness, we all know that freedom is tempered by loving kindness for all of life. Buddhism has a saying that goes, "The view may be as vast as the sky. Our judgment regarding the laws of cause and effect should be as fine as flour." Right? Now think about this. It suggests that a sage would never even conceive of the merest thought, speak the merest word, or perform the merest action that might possibly harm another. Should this be so, such wisdom of the truth would be meaningless. You see, when our consciousness is in connection with that ultimate truth, we don't see with our closed eyes of just what's in front of us and just the physical world. We see the spiritual world. We see with the one. We see how it all comes together. And so all of those little nuances and the little tiny relationships, one thing to another, when the butterfly flaps its wings, it changes the world, right? We have that connection when we stay in that Christ consciousness, one with spirit. So before we move into prayer, I want to talk about an example of how our responsibility to truly listen to Spirit's guidance as we seek and manifest the spiritual truth. So Science of Mind invites us to be objective and question our own thoughts, to seek the truth. That's one of the amazing things about Science of Mind. There's not just the rules, you follow them, you go to heaven. No. When we begin seeking the spiritual truth, we don't know what we know until we discover it either, until it comes to our conscious awareness. So we are continually working that learning edge and discovering something new, something deeper. We don't want to do a spiritual bypass as we do when we say that something is true and then continue to act as if it is not. I've been taking the class, Me and White Supremacy. There's 118 ministers. We're all getting together on Friday mornings as we go through do our daily journaling, and it's been quite a journey. I've been amazed at what I've been learning. The basic premise of the class is that whether we think we are acting like racists or not, and most of us, we've made a point our whole lives of not being racist, but there's still many things that we do that are supporting the continuance of systemic racism. We benefit from white privilege, whether it is consciously or unconsciously. You know, my personal blind spot has been thinking that color blindness is the same as treating people equally. It is not. You know, when I was a child growing up, my parents had moved from Virginia and to Maryland, and they really wanted to teach us children to treat everyone as equal. You know, and when we heard Martin Luther King suggest that we want someone to judge someone by their character rather than the color of their skin. And so I looked at people's skin color just like their hair color. You know, it's just one of the things that you describe somebody, but you know, we're all the same. We judge people by who they are individually. Well, the fallacy in my thinking is that we believe that if we stop seeing race, racism will just go away. If we move beyond racism as a society, it's going to take a lot more work, right? It's in the race consciousness. And so we have to do our part to shift that consciousness, you know, awakening white people's consciousness to see white privilege and racial harm. We don't think of ourselves as white people, of being someone with privilege or that we are a race, but we are. And there's things that we do that are part of our culture that are just ingrained. We don't even think about it. You know, it will take systemic and institutional change to address the disparities of racism, making amends for past and present day harm. We want to create a world where all people truly have an equal chance to succeed and rise to their full divinely intended potential. You know, because each person is a part of me. I want every part of me to succeed and be its true self. Colorblindness shifts the responsibility for solving the race problem to the minorities. It's not my problem. I don't see race. They should just work hard and complain less. It's about the other. No, it's about me too. And the colorblindness ignores the reality of white privilege and that it is harder for BIPOC or Black, Indigenous, and people of color to succeed. Colorblindness essentially amounts to saying, I do not see you for who you are. It's like gaslighting from that movie, you might remember. Say that the reason that the Black person has more trouble getting through the airport security, oh no, that's not because you're Black. It's not that you have trouble getting a mortgage because of your race. Well, in fact, in many instances, it is. It is. But they always ask themselves, why am I having these problems? You know? Why do we have to train our children how to behave if they get stopped by the police? Right? I mean, that's crazy. So talking about race, then, doesn't lead to division. Quite the contrary. It opens up the conversation to identify needed solutions to move forward together. And the key word here is together, as one, towards a world that works for everyone. You know, skin color is a part of who we are. If we don't consciously recognize someone else's skin color or our own skin color, be it white or black or brown, and the impact that it has on our life experiences, we cannot fully understand what role skin color plays in everyone else's life. What we believe may be faulty, so we use spiritual practices to connect with spirit first, to remember that we are one with the infinite, and to see the actual spiritual truth revealed in us, through us, and as us, and in each person and in all of our actions. And so it is a more enlightened way of being. A good analogy is that we could be absolutists and only use spiritual methods for healing. Well, in Science of Mind, we practice the integration of body, mind, and spiritual practices for healing. When we break a leg, we have the doctor set the bone so that it heals properly. We give the leg time to heal. And then we go through physical therapy to strengthen the muscles again and restore full motion of our leg. Healing takes work on the physical level in addition to the spiritual level. I mean, there's instantaneous, it's possible, but you know, most of the time we go through this process, and the physical process actually requires us to slow down and listen to what's going on in the spirit within. Right? Similarly, we need to follow spiritual practices to see the spiritual truth about ending racism, including what we are doing that goes against our true intention. Where are we our own worst enemy? You know? So we have to let go of what we think we know and let God reveal the spiritual truth. This is how we align our understanding of the spiritual truth and manifest new beliefs and actions that support manifestation of the spiritual truth of oneness. Through spiritual practice and setting our intention, our conscious awareness grows to see the truth that will set us free. So let's take this to prayer. So unfurl yourself, get your feet flat on the floor, relaxed in your chair, feeling the chair supporting you, hands in your lap, open to spirit. And breathing in and out. We let our consciousness shift into moving one with the universe, one with all of life. And so I recognize the power and the presence of God right here and right now. And as those thoughts of craziness rise in my life, with each breath outward, I release that pent-up rage and helpless feeling. With each breath in, I welcome the infinite love of spirit. I breathe out fear and anxiety. I breathe in peace and calmness. As my heart relaxes and opens to receive the soothing flow of the universe, I feel loved. I feel whole. I am not alone. I am perfectly cared for. Spirit cares for my every need. Spirit is the spiritual truth under each and every situation in my life, in every relationship, and every moment. I have complete faith in Spirit as I see the unstoppable power of God's infinite love and wisdom to heal and transform every situation. Where there appears to be dis-ease, where there appears to be stress, where there appears to be racism, where there appears to be strife of any kind between the parts of the one. I see the ripples of spirit manifesting the spiritual truth of wholeness, of oneness, of infinite love. Ever moving, ever evolving, I see the manifest world transforming. I see that spiritual truth is what is real and permanent. I see that what I must release to support the healing of the world. I see what I am called to see and to do to support the healing of the world. I let go and let God be the truth in all things, to be my guide and my strength, to be my deep, abiding peace and everlasting love. My spirit soars. The truth has set me free. How grateful I am for all the gifts of life. I want for nothing. I share infinite love and joy, full to overflowing with all people. Thank you, Father, Mother God. And as I release these words into the law of God, I know that the world is transformed right here and right now. The spiritual truth is now manifesting. And together we say, and so it is. So I'd like to welcome Rod back for another one of his wonderful songs.
Thank you very much. Well, this is a perky song, so I hope you enjoy it and probably get the blood flowing, if it's not already. And hopefully it is. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday and mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new, and don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should. Now I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am loved and so are you, and don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should. All is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. Oh, all is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. I am cloaked in the Spirit. I am fed by the divine. I am one with all there is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed, and so are you. All is well. 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 And unfolding as it should. Yeah.
All right, that did get our blood going. Thank you, Rod.
You're welcome.
So now we're moving into our time of prosperity. And we know that as Rick is bringing up our slide, we have in this transition, we know that our Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee, we rely on your community contributions to continue spreading our positive messages during this time and challenging time, and make it possible for us to be here online. Your gifts make a giant difference, and we are grateful for your contributions to the center. Let's hold your gift in your heart or your mind over your heart and repeat with me. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me, blessed and multiplied. And so it is. So we have our virtual offering plate to make it easy for you, since we can't just pass the basket so easily here. So please send us a check in the mail, or you can use your debit or credit card on our website and donate through PayPal. So we appreciate whatever you would like to, or guided to share with us. And so, because God is